Oh yes, legends. How's everybody doing? Hope you're doing fantastic. Let's analyze the situation here all together for the price of Bitcoin. See what is going on. Let's go. How's everybody doing? Hope you're doing fantastic, guys. Let's take a look at the price of Bitcoin and see what is going on here, because we did continue pumping here. We did not reject from this zone. We did not reject, guys. We actually got that pullback to the lows of the range, which was acceptable for a long position. We talked about this on yesterday's stream. So it's not looking too great, right, for the shorters. We'll be analyzing the situation today, guys, okay, on the higher time frame and see what is going on. Do we reject from here? I'm interested in seeing that poll here from everybody, okay? What are the votes? We break range highs above 95K. This is basically the highs of the range, right? We break them. We continue to the upside. The momentum doesn't look like it wants to stop, right? Then on the poll, another vote here that we have fake pump rollover is loading. 50%. That is quite big, guys. People are not believing on this pump and looking for a rollover basically to come soon. Interesting. Over 50% right there. 31%, which is quite a lot of people feeling bullish, feeling the breakout of the range highs above 95K. Test above 95K, then down, right? So it's either rollover soon without testing the highs of the range, which is slightly below 95K. Okay. People are expecting not to reach that level, and rollover is coming soon. That is 50% of the voters. Then we have 16-17% saying that we test it, we fake out from it, and we roll over. And 31%, as I just checked, looking for that sustained breakout above 95K. Interesting. We're going to be analyzing a few scenarios, of course. On the lower time frame, we were hitting this zone of resistance. It was a point of control. We need to get that level off the chart right now. Okay, we had hang on a minute, just looking for my point of control levels here. Wait, this is not it. I'm on the wrong chart. This one right over here. So we were getting some resistance yesterday at that level. However, we ended up moving here to the upside. And yesterday we talked about, we are getting a reaction at this zone, right? We are getting this reaction at this zone. It could obviously reject. We want to be defensive because we could be popping out also. So you want to try and get into the highest level possible. And as explained on yesterday's stream, was it yesterday? Yes. I didn't want this lower high to be taken, right? If we are going to be forming something bearish here, we want to see the price really roll over either in the second attempt or third attempt, right? And if we take this pivot, in this case, you could forward it to this pivot after creating that low. If we start getting this price action over here, that means that, you're just getting a breakout of the bull flag. It's not looking bearish. It looks very corrective. You had a chance on these lower highs right over here. Maybe this one. Yes, we attempted to break the lows. We failed to break the lows. And if price gets to this level, I'm no longer interested in being in the short position because it's high probability that you're going to take out this local high. So we're going to go through the local scenarios. We were talking about long positions as well yesterday, with the position obviously coming down to fill the CME gap. That didn't happen, of course. We just consolidated, continued to the upside. We do have that CME gap open, which is interesting, of course. But if we wanted to get into a new long position, right, because everybody, well, not everybody, but a lot of people would be like, I kind of don't want a long here into resistance, but that doesn't mean there is no long positions on these pullbacks. And we talked about that long position yesterday, okay? If we're looking to get into this rally, it's okay, right, to long if you haven't longed the lows or longed lower there is still long positions to be taken. However, we need to be a little bit patient. And of course, that was the range lows throughout the weekend, right? Throughout Sunday was an acceptable long position. We can see that fair value gap, the lows right there, not being tested. It was tested right over here, fake out. And that was a potential long entry on the fake out here of this pivot low. Okay, anybody that wanted to attempt a long position, right, not longing into resistance, I'm actually interested in getting into the shorts at the highs of this little mini range that we formed on Sunday. But if you wanted to join a new long position for this potential breakout above 91.7k, which was the highs of Sunday, you had to wait for $90,900, right, to be tested. That is the fair value gap. We tested the low and we got acceptance back inside of the mini range of Sunday. So that's another, obviously where we were at yesterday. Long in here was like, yeah, I don't think so, right? I don't think I want to long here at the highs. If anything, we come down to 90,900, test the lows of the range. If we fake out, that is our moment to long right over here, right? This is literally what happened on yesterday's little mini range, right? We finally got that movement down from when we were here yesterday on the live stream. No longs to be taken here, guys. Come on, right? You want to fake out the range, mini range lows here, and then obviously that is your long decision somewhere in this zone to target the highs and maybe even higher, right? So we ultimately came down finally, right, to test the lows, boom, 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 and move to the upside. This is what we were looking for here yesterday if you wanted to participate in a new long position, right? It's kind of hard to get into the long as the price is pumping. You don't want to FOMO in. So we literally tested that 90.9k level and we got the bounce, and we're still bouncing to the upside. So do we reject? Well, we're going to talk about the local price action most importantly, right? We're going to talk about this zone very importantly, and also talk about this level of naked point of control actually flipped as support today. So we broke it and we're actually flipping it as support. This zone, I have to say, is interesting for a movement down at, to claim this low. It is interesting just because this has a potential of being a 5-wave structure to the downside, and this has a potential of being a 3-waver to the upside. So testing these lows, I think there's a very, very good chance. Is there any good new long positions? Because we are day traders, we look for longs and shorts regardless of where we are. So I would rather see a little bit more of a pullback down if I wanted to get into a new long position. Yeah. Could this be building up 1, 2, 1, 2? It's just going to pop out. I do not want a long here personally myself, but a new long position would be after testing the lows right over here. We do not want to lose literally the 5-15 minute market structure, which is bullish, right? We've been bullish throughout the last few days. This market structure, could this be multiple 1-2 scenario here, and we actually gonna pop out to 95, 96k plus, right, in the next couple of days? If that is the case, obviously I would want to see a longer pullback. Okay, as long as this pivot low is not lost, longs could be interesting without a doubt. We're gonna have to really watch how the price action develops here throughout the stream. But there could be, I would say that, is there a long available in this area? I have to say there is. Up here, if it comes up from here and moves to the highs, then, I have to say this is not a long scalp that I would take for sure. So we would have to get a little bit of test the lows of the pump of yesterday, form that 3-wave structure with the most bullish case scenario, which would be multiple 1-2s. We're going to have to check here in this area, right? Because there is definitely some support there in this zone. We're looking at previous day value levels. You've got previous day value area high, point of control. That is really coming down at a significant pullback. But obviously you would want to see the golden pocket to the 7-8 Fibonacci coming to overlap yesterday's highs from Sunday. So coming into this area could be an interesting zone. However, price needs to slow down. We need to test the lows. Test the lows of today, these higher lows, to form potentially that three waver. Then, we're going to have to see, right? Long in here, a little bit too shallow, okay, for my taste, to jump into a long position here at the moment. Actually, shorts are not that bad based on risk management to come down and test the lows here at the golden pocket 7-8 Fibonacci zone, just considering that this might be a 5-wave little impulse. There is that potential. Of course, the market's leaving this a little bit tricky, right? Coming all the way up to the 7-8, almost hitting the 0.88 Fibonacci, missing it by a hair, right? Giving this scenario a little bit tricky. But yeah, for the moment, momentum is still bullish. So looking for longs is still very much part of the game, right? The overall trend in the last few days is bullish. Swing shorts are looking interesting at specific levels. We do have the yearly level, which has been missed by a few dollars. Yearly level here, which would have been interesting to catch as an SFP. However, we missed it. This, I have to say, this yearly level at $93,350, 54 to be more exact on Coinbase, we missed it by just a couple of dollars, right? So is this an acceptable double top? I have to say it is, just because this yearly level is a strong level, right? So double top, interesting here to get that wick and then move down to the lows and maybe lower, who knows? I have to say there's a little bit of a day trade scenario here on a double top, just because we have the yearly level that was not tapped. So in a nutshell, I'm going to keep it simple here for the new trades that could be developing in the next coming hours. If you break out this level, we haven't got much levels. We'll be coming close here to come all the way up to the highs. The yearly level is also with the 0.88 Fibonacci, which is interesting. I like the 0.88. It was also missed by a hair. It's just literally where the yearly level is, slightly above. So it's an interesting local double top area to get a little bit of a pullback, potentially of $1,000, maybe $2,000. So I think it's a very, very good level. I like the double top idea. 0.88 Fibonacci from the range highs to the lows. And we got the yearly level all the way up there. So let's see. We might get this on stream. Let's see if we do get up there. And regarding longs, if we want to join a new long, yesterday we had that opportunity down here, which was the basically an SFP of this range low of the weekend, right? Fair value gap. That a lot of the times these provide good setups, right, where you're just coming up to test the highs and maybe even break to higher levels, as explained yesterday, right? If we're looking for a new scalp long position, we would have to sweep those lows of the range of Sunday, which was yesterday, right? So we did end up doing this movement here, as you can see on the Picasso drawing. So just need to remain patient, prepare those plans, and very, very good risk management. Let's go through the comment section right away. So at the end of the day, any new good positions, I would have to say, would be double top, just because we have the yearly level and the 0.88 Fibonacci, which is literally at the same level. And for a new long position intraday, as the market structure is bullish, we have had a significant leg up here on Monday. A lot of people would be a little bit cautious. I would understand that, because we do have the CME futures gap down at the 90K levels. We do have that CME futures gap. And of course, if we move down from here, we would have to see proof of support, that is for sure, in this area. And it's super crucial for the price to continue this bullish momentum, to maintain bullish market structure, right? So yes, there could be definitely a possibility for support here and actually move to the upside, right? Let's not underestimate the bulls, as they are winning throughout the last few days, right? They are getting to the highs of the range. They are winning, so they possibly want to take out $95,000 throughout the next couple of days. And these pullbacks eventually, right, they could be interesting for longs. This one, the latest one from Sunday. Let's see if we do get that movement down here, because it could be interesting for a long. Sweep up the local lows of today, see some proof of support, and then obviously take that decision. Of course, I would not want to see this local bullish market structure changed, right, which is the last higher low, which is from yesterday, right? If we are going to maintain this bullish market structure, it is crucial for the bulls to maintain above this level. The moment you start losing this, then we could be looking for more downside, of course, right? So yeah, that's a little bit of the plan. Local scalp short, day trade short, could turn into a swing trade. We don't know. Depends on the rejection. Yearly level, double top, acceptable. 0.88 Fibonacci from the range highs, right, to the lows. Interesting level. And then obviously that long position here, which is in this zone. Preferably we do, this obviously is a resistance support flip scenario, just like yesterday, where you have a resistance, right, support flip, literally. So can we flip this resistance into support again? We're going to have to watch those levels throughout the stream. Can we consider this, a resistance high that, it's gonna roll over? The main reason that this area in between the golden pocket and the 7-8, which is literally where we at the moment, could be a rejection point, just a rejection point to claim this low. Not talking about going down to $50,000, talking about maybe getting this lower high to test these lows, and then we'll have to see how the movement down develops. I have to say it is a zone of potentially forming a lower high here, at least to continue this correction ever so slightly. The main reason why is because, this is lower time frame, of course. There is that possibility of this being a 5-wave move down. Okay, obviously if you have a 5-wave move down here, a lower high golden pocket 7-8 is possible, right? So there is that potential, of course, in this area to form a lower high. I have to say it is a possibility to come and take out this low. It has a possibility. Okay, let's go through the comment section, say hello to the beautiful community, and see what is going on. 96k, and we go down. So literally sweeping the range highs at above 95, maybe hit 96, and then we go down. B-Join is saying down. It's interesting. People are a little bit bearish. People are quite bearish here. Fake pump rollover is loading. Test above 95k, then down not 20%. We break range highs above 95k. We break them, literally going to 97, 98, maybe 100k, right, throughout the next coming days. 34% people are feeling pretty much bullish. So yeah, let's go right away through. Just imagine the Batman figure and you'll see it. Bulls winning when volumes are low. Real test today. Real traders return. BTC will crash again. I think you should wait. Okay. Be careful with trading out losses. Less. You're already in a position with profits. I see on the 50-minute chart on BTC Perp, we got 2 unfilled CME gaps below us. I am gonna buy 5,500 shares of MicroStrategy here, says Fred Sloan. Anyway, before we continue with the content and the possible setups, guys, of course, I need to give you that quick reminder that this content is only for educational purposes and is not financial advice. The information provided is not guaranteed to be accurate or complete. Always conduct your own research before making any financial decision. Let's go through comment section and let's see what's going on. We're going to do a little bit of higher time frame. Of course, the local market structure is bullish for the last few days. We did end up moving above successfully these range highs, continuing the momentum. And now, of course, we are coming into our next major level of resistance, which is that yearly level, right? When we go to the BTC chart, on the yearly chart, right, the 12-month chart, it is literally the close and open, right? 2024 close and 2025 open. As you can see here, we just missed it by a hair, by a few dollars. And it is an interesting zone, right? It is definitely an interesting zone to maybe just wick above it and get at least an intraday corrective move, which we are getting here a little bit, ever so slightly, of course. It would have been nice to actually tap above that level for a trade execution, but that was not the case. We missed it by a few dollars, that yearly level. So yeah, we're going to go through few different patterns, few different possibilities here for the price of Bitcoin. The most bullish one, of course, is that there's no other way of counting this leg to the upside if it is going to be ultimately super bullish and break out in the next couple of days well beyond $95,000. This has to be multiple 1-2s building up, at least from this low, because this is very messy. I would consider that all of this is part of a larger correction here, regardless if this is a wave 1 long correction here. It's just very, very messy, very three-wavy. I would not consider, bullish market structure in multiple wave 1s and 2s being built up from here. It would literally be from this area right over here, just because there's so much overlap, so much three-wave structures in this zone, which I would consider as a complex WXY correction if that is going to be the case for the bulls. So what is interesting here is the movement up from this pivot from last Wednesday, at least for me, where you have possible impulsive moves, right? Possible legs here to the upside that we could consider that it is building multiple 1-2s. This is why the most bullish case scenario, which does not fill the CME gap and does not break down from the local bullish market structure, which is this last higher low at $90,800 from yesterday, Sunday, which was acceptable as explained for that long position, guys. Anybody that was waiting patiently for that test of the range lows, you could be in that position if you're looking for joining the uptrend, right? Joining the bullish momentum. We had to wait for that pullback to test the range lows, which successfully did not break. I was going to say successfully broke, but it did not break, right? So it did successfully hold. So this is why, the most bullish case scenario is multiple 1-2s. If we've got some people in the comment section that is, saying that, yeah, I think we're going to break out above 95K. If we are looking to join this momentum, I have to say it needs a bit more of a pullback. We need a pullback to get at least to test the highs of yesterday in this area, which is the golden pocket. That is if I wanted to join a new long setup here, we would have to get a pullback, and then we can consider, depending on how the price holds this region, if we do get down there. Because then, of course, if the price were to pop out from this zone with a pullback or without a pullback, you had time to get into longs as well, right? You might say, oh, I didn't long here, but you could have longed here, or you could have longed here yesterday, and maybe we get another new long position today. Nothing tells us that this is not possible as long as we maintain the local bullish market structure. The most bullish case scenario is multiple 1-2s, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, pop out in a third wave that actually goes to, beyond 95K eventually and goes to much higher levels. So let's get that pullback. If we do, we're going to have to analyze here the local situation. And for shorts, I have to say, you know, this is at a zone that is acceptable for a short managing risk. I would treat it as a scalp short just to claim the lows. Literally, just because you have a 5-wave move down here, this could be a 3-wave structure that is coming in to the 7-8 Fibonacci. It's like really, you know, getting to the last stages, but is the best entry possible here. Golden pocket 7-8, stop loss at the high, just for an internal scalp short to claim the lows of the range. I have to say it's very possible that this could happen, of course, throughout the next coming hours. Let's go through comment section, see what the people are saying. I know people are feeling bullish. Some people are feeling bearish. Some people are saying it's a fake out, fake pump. Pump or dump when market opens? Very good question. Market opens in about an hour and 10 minutes from now, so we will have to see how the market opens. We do have some news today, which is where's the news? 7 p.m. Oh, sorry, no, this was yesterday. My bad. It was yesterday. Oh no, today's Monday. What am I saying? Yeah, today we're at 7 p.m. We do have PMI, which is in about 1 hour and 40 minutes from now. That's just after New York Open. Could see some internal local volatility. It could happen, so just need to be aware for this coming out. I will still be in the live stream, so we'll be looking at New York Open. We'll be looking at this news and see if we do hit specific levels on the price of Bitcoin. I have to say, looking at order flow, there's been some new longs entering right now, so it would be nice to see that pullback. Of course, people were shorting throughout this uptrend, so we continued the momentum to the upside, but it's nice to see some longs entering right now, which could give us that pullback down to sweep up the lows locally. Okay, nice few longs right now, not massive longs, I have to say, but still forming some little bit of local bearish CVDs, which is just testing the lows at the moment, which is the target zone, right? We've got lower highs on price action, higher highs on CVD here, and we just literally just confirming those bearish CVDs as we are testing the local lows of today. So longs entering right now, which are getting, you know, squeezed out, those scalpers that are looking to long Bitcoin up here, which is not the greatest zone for a long, I have to say. Anyway, let's go through comment section. We'll be discussing render popping off. Yes, it is true that we are seeing some altcoins making the move. Render, which is one of the AI magic cryptos that was very hyped throughout 2024 and 2025. Of course, we got a big major correction here on Render throughout 2025. We can check Render right away, but there are some altcoins. Just checked some altcoins, and a lot of them are popping pretty nicely, right? Render is on the move throughout the last few days, but I mean, when we consider the downtrend that we are in on the higher time frame, this was a very hyped up crypto back in 2024. AI, this is going to change everything, right? You get the deal. Big AI bubble, and yeah, this crypto got absolutely destroyed throughout 2025, even part of 2024. We got some pumps, of course, but yeah, when you zoom out, we can literally see where we at. Obviously, no time for shorts down here, and probably getting some squeezes going on at the moment with this crypto. So yeah, I mean, lots of them are getting this short squeeze kind of reaction, right? Everything's been so bearish, and obviously we need to have this kind of squeeze on a lot of the altcoins, which is the case, right? Render is one of the best performing cryptos at the moment in the last few days, and yeah, we're just seeing that pop here to the upside on Render. But I wouldn't be too bullish, right? I wouldn't be too bullish, but we're literally at the lows, right? If you're looking to buy cheap any coins that you believe in for the future, I mean, obviously this has been very low prices for the case of Render, right? But if I'm honest with you, I'm not interested on altcoins lately throughout the last few months. Anyway, let's go through the comment section. You need pullback, not Bitcoin. Wrong. You need pullback, not Bitcoin. Render popping off. News at 10. News at 10. It is, yeah, in about 1 hour and 40 minutes from now. We do have some news. Give us some juicy levels. Gonna bet the whole farm shorting. Yeah, juicy levels are basically, yeah, the ones I've explained. Okay. The most juicy levels. I know people are exciting on getting into a short, right? And when I do take a look at the poll, it's like 45% out of these 3 votes this week for Bitcoin. Fake pump rollover is loading. People are very much in favor of that rollover, right? That we're going to start moving down in the next coming days. But the reality is that we're in bullish market structure. All the resistance are basically being broken, except for this yearly one, which we have not tested. So yeah, the reality is we're still uptrending. Of course, it is nice to catch the Pico top, right, in a short. If we were to reject successfully from this zone, I have to say, it's not a bad area, considering that this move down could be a 5 waver. It does match in nicely, and that's why this pump to the 61878 zone is a rolling over point, right? Potentially to test these lows, and then we'll have to check what's going on here, because does this move down get supported here and bounce back up, or do we break low? But I have to say, this golden pocket 7-8 region is an acceptable attempt, because when we're looking for a sign of weakness, right, and a sign of weakness is literally losing the bullish market structure that has been developed throughout the last few days, right, where you form a wave 1, a wave 2, a wave 3, right? It breaks down, right? And then, 4, 5, and then you get that choppy bounce. So unless you're shorting the potential wave 2, you don't want to short part of the wave 3, right? This is like, you don't know if this is going to form a higher low and then move up, right? As explained on the bullish case. So as you move down, you do not want to short unless you have a completed wave to the downside. So you got a few options here. You either attempt the wave 2, which is currently what could be developing, maybe, right? You attempt that level, or you wait for the proper sign of weakness, which is breaking the local bullish market structure of the last few days in a pretty significant move down, and you wait for the corrective bounce, right? Most commonly coming into the golden pocket zone, right? 50% golden pocket 7-8 area. That would be the next attempt. This is the thing about trying to get into a short position. You either attempt the very, very high levels on the 15-minute with good risk management, or on the 1 hourly time frame, you actually wait for that sign of weakness, and then the bounce eventually that could take a couple of days, and that is your shorting zone here, 50% golden pocket area, to then get that leg to the downside. But you need an impulse, you need a break of structure, which eventually we do not have for the moment. So yeah, does this have the potential? I have to say it definitely has, right? You got a valid 5-wave structure down. Golden pocket 7-8 is your limit, of course, to form a lower high. First level is to test the lows. Could it break down in a wave 3, 4, and 5? Or is it just going to be a 3-wave structure and bounce back up? That is the question here, right? That is the question. But it does have the possibility. Let's leave it that way. For any new longs, I'd have to say we need to get down at least beneath this pivot for that possibility of a 3-wave structure. Okay, depending on how we move up from here, boom, 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 then this could be interesting for a new long, if that is the case. I know a lot of people would say, I'm not longing, this is pumped already too much, it's going to roll over. But this is like the same as yesterday. You know, why not? Why not long yesterday if we come down to test the lows of the range and the top of the fair value gap? Why not get into a long here to test the highs? Why not after testing the lows? You know, I have to say it was an acceptable long position as explained yesterday, right? So we can look for longs still eventually, guys. You know, we look for day trades, we look for internal movements. We want to be cautious with longs at this point after this pump that we've had in the last you know, few days. We've moved up significantly, right? I wouldn't say it's a huge massive move, but we've been rallying here nicely throughout the last few days. So we want to be cautious on the pullback for new longs, because eventually we could, you know, lose the momentum very quickly. Let's go right away through comment section. So that's a little bit it. That's a little bit of the internal plan, guys, that we do have. Of course, the price does have a possibility of forming a lower high in this region just to test the local lows. A new trade would be double top, just because we have the yearly level. I have to say it's kind of an acceptable double top just because there's a yearly level and it is the 0.88 Fibonacci. So move up, get back down, you know, look for at least to test the lows here of the range of today, right? The lows of today, the higher low. Interesting possibility here. And for longs, we need to take out this low, and then we need to check how we're getting supported in this zone. We're gonna have to see, because if it's just very aggressive, not interested in taking a long position, okay, in this area. If the movement down is very aggressive, you know, what we would need to see is the movement down, a nice little bounce and a consolidation. That's the moment that it's looking interesting to join the trend, right? Kind of a fake out of the lows, get massive support from the highs, just a resistance support flip basically. But we would need a reaction. We need a bounce, you know, just like yesterday, where we explained the possibility of a long position. It's not longing the exact move down. You know, you're longing, you could long here, but literally stop loss at the low, or long as you get acceptance back above the level. But yeah, this is literally where you're looking for the long trade, stop loss at the low. You're not longing the movement down. So this is why I would want to see that reaction bounce. And then obviously the consolidation will be interesting to look for the longs, right? To maybe take out literally the highs again. So we need to be patient on the movement down, right? You need to see proof of support. You need to maintain bullish market structure. This is the zone where it becomes interesting to jump into the long, not on the movement down. So we're gonna have to see. But that's literally the new long trade that if we wanted to join in. And for shorts, you know, as mentioned, this does have the potential of rolling over from here. Golden pocket to the 7-8. Just at least to test these lows of today, because we do have a possible impulsive move down here. Wave 4 did not overlap from your wave 1. 3-wave structure, really stretching it here to the 7-8, almost hitting the 0.88. So bears need to locally just, you know, push down now throughout the next 1 hour to 2 hours, right? You're gonna can give it a little bit of time, but they want to push down at least to test these lows, and let's see if they do have enough power to break the structure, which you know, is going to be interesting to see. It's going to be interesting to see, because this is the zone of decision, right? This is the zone of decision. You know, does it end up being a 3-wave correction? We get supported, resistance, support, flip, boom, 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 bang, back up to the highs. Interesting for longs if we do not get follow through. and maintain the bullish market structure, interesting for longs. Okay, if we just move down eventually from this pivot low and we just don't get any stops and volume increases and it actually is pretty aggressive, then no longs to be taken eventually, right? So anyway, let's go. We're just analyzing a little bit here of the price action, guys, and nothing too fancy. See what's going on here with the community. What's going on? Fake pump rollover is loading 44%. It is disturbing how many people are actually looking for the rollover. That's why it is disturbing, right? You may think the amount of people that are really looking for that rollover and this pump is fake is a lot, which people will believe, well, that means that we're going to short squeeze, right? We're going to end up breaking above 95k because a lot of people are looking for that rollover, which is Andy reading the tarots. Much love. Let's see here what's going on in the comment section. Long now, big pump incoming, says Axel. Much love to you, my man. Would be nice, as explained, to get that at least come into this zone. If I wanted to consider a new long, I would not long here, me personally. You can do whatever you want, of course, but of course we could form a higher low right over here. Boom, 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 and then not with this movement down. I'm not interested in a higher lows here, me personally, just because this has the potential of a 5-waver, which naturally could bring a larger 3-wave move. And then here we'll see how the price reacts. That's if we do come down there. Of course, we don't need to come down there, but that would be the interesting zone for a new long position, right? It's like taking a long. It depends on where you have your stop loss as well and how you're treating this trade as a scalp or as a day trade, because maybe you could have longed here yesterday as we were doing the stream, right? You might think, well, I'm going to long right over here and my stop loss is, I don't know where your stop loss is going to be, but I'm going to be targeting the highs and I'm going to hope for the breakout, right? So yesterday the plan was look for the fake out of the lows of the range and target the highs first of all as a TP1, right? Somewhere in this range, right? As you recover, look for the long position. That was the overall plan of yesterday. If you wanted to join a new long position, sweep the lows, fair value gap. This can hold. It does hold a lot of the times. If you get back above, that is your zone of longing. Stop loss is beneath the low, right, of the fake out. It was literally at $90,970, right? We dropped about $100 or so, got back above. So this is why, where we are at the moment, longs are not that interesting. We need a pullback. We, understanding the market structure. I don't want a long here. I'm not longing this pullback down. Is my stop loss here? Or is my stop loss here? The risk to reward, there's no proper plan here. So the plan for me is pretty simple. It doesn't mean that we need to get down there, but it's just how I would want to get into a new long, guys. We would just because this has the possibility of being a 5-waver. And it's all about, it has the possibility. So if it has the possibility, this could still form a 3-wave. And depending on how this move develops, there's 2 options. You get follow through, or it actually holds, right? And then if it does hold and forms a nice bounce with a corrective, little movement to the downside, well, that's the moment that you want to join the long. So that's a little bit of what I'm looking at here to rejoin a long position, and it all has to do with where to place my stop if I'm getting into a long here, right? So this is the thing right now, right? As someone was saying in the comment section, long now it's gonna fly, right? The problem is stop loss, right? If I don't have a solid stop loss, I can't get into the long, right? I cannot get into the long if I don't have a solid plan and solid levels to put a stop loss. I cannot get into the long, right? It's not putting a stop beneath these higher lows. I do very much think that they could be taken. So for me, it's not worth it, right? If that makes any sense. Of course, the price could form a higher low here and absolutely blast off. And then you would say, I told you, right? The problem is stop loss here. You know, don't like putting a stop at these higher lows. It's not in my trading plan. But of course, you know, we could form a higher low from here and test the highs, you know, and break out. So it's a stop loss situation that I have here to enter along, understanding that this could be a 5-wave move down that gives the potential of this, right? So yeah, anyway, let's go through comment section. It's all about the stop loss, right? We go down at least to 83.3k, 89k. Maybe. Happy New Year, guys. Andy, could you take a look at XRP? Mark, much love to you. Happy New Year. Could you take a look at XRP? We can take a look at some altcoins. Andy, risky long now. It is. CBD on the 1 hourly time frame. Yes, crash is coming soon, very soon. 50k in 24 hours. You guys are hilarious. Sometimes I am in doubt that there is any serious people here in the comment section looking for scenarios. On the 1 day chart, is this an ending diagonal in C? Since the move appears to be an ABC and an expanding flat. Holy smokes, let's take a look at that. Why not? On the daily time frame, let's go through that comment again here. Is this an ending diagonal in a C wave in C? Since the move appears to be an ABC in an expanding flat. Daily time frame, expanding flat. I'm not sure if you are talking about this or this one right over here. I mean, if we're talking about a flat from here, there is a flat here already, and this has to be some kind of a, you know, WXY double zigzag, and then this is the C wave of a running flat. In this case, not a regular flat, so you should take these lows. But an there's no solid diagonal here. There is no solid diagonal that I can see from all-time high. It does look 3-wavy for the moment. Okay, does look 3-wavy. This would have to be a sideways complex correction. But yeah, it does look 3-wavy for the moment. So there's no expanding diagonal or any of that in this zone. Okay, so anyway, let's go through the comment section. Adam and Eve on the 1 day. Adam and Eve on the 1 day. Yeah, I mean, this somebody pointed this out. Interesting. If I'm honest with you, the Eve doesn't have to take out the lows. Sometimes it does form a slightly higher low, double bottom. I'm not a fan of this, if I'm honest with you. Okay, unless we were to test, you know, a solid breakout from here, then maybe we could consider this. Maybe we're gonna have to see throughout the next coming days. But yeah, this is definitely a solid level of resistance, literally the range highs, right? It is a solid zone here that we have tested here throughout December. So we would have to see a solid daily candle close, and maybe coming down here on looking at the 1 hour time frame. We could analyze that situation here for the Adam and Eve double bottom, right? Off we go to Valhalla in the next couple of weeks. Not a fan of these patterns, I have to say. Interesting to read the comment section here on these patterns that we do have from the community. And can you take a look for the daily close? It looks like bullish. Daily close, daily close, right? I would say. Look at the daily because it looks kind of bullish. Look at the daily time frame. Let's take a look at this. We're doing here a little bit of, let me know in the comment section anything that you want me to look at for Bitcoin. Daily looks kind of bullish. We are not stopping here. We are not stopping for the moment, right? Throughout the last few days, a lot of daily candles that is just maintaining local bullish market structure. This is why it's kind of crucial to maintain this last pivot higher low. Shorts are attractive, I have to say. They are. This bounce is kind of attractive for the short, just because we have the potential of this being an impulsive move, right? Which could be a wave 1, it could be a wave A. It has the potential of taking out the higher low of today. However, yeah, when we consider the structure, if it is going to pop out, I am interested in longs if we do get lower, guys. I'm interested, depending. We have to take out the higher low of today. I want to see the price maintain above 90,800. I know a lot of you are going to say, but the CME gap is here, right? It's just, I know what to see on the price for me to actually execute that long position. Just like yesterday, I know that this is a valid long. Sweep up the lows of Sunday's range and get acceptance back above. You got a stop loss on the fake out here, and you got an entry here, and you're targeting the highs at least, right? Which was the internal long setup that we explained on yesterday's stream. Get down there, test below 90,900. You get back above, you got an entry and you got a stop loss. Risk management overall, with a strategy here. So I am interested in still participating, because we've seen throughout the, if we zoom out, right? Regardless if it's here or you think that this downtrend is going to go on forever, right? It's just a fake pump. There will be a moment where the price is just going to pop out, right? It's going to break the downtrend. Nothing goes up forever or down forever. So I understand that, and I consider it to get into new long positions, right? Regardless if it's this momentum or if it's this momentum right over here, right, and here, ending up having a significant move to the upside. So could this be the start of a larger move up that it does get to 96, 98, 100k, 105k? Right, and we see a significant move developing throughout the next 1 to 2 weeks. I have to say it's possible, right? And if I wanted to get into a new trade, into a new long position, right now it's for me it's not possible. For me it's not possible. Yesterday, yes. A few days ago, yes. But where we at right now, at least we need to get into this area, and then we'll check that price action, because it all has to do with the third wave. How is the third wave getting developed to the downside? Do we form multiple 1-2s and we break down successfully in the third wave, right? Even this one, 1, 2, 3. Well, apparently not. It was this 1, 2, 1, 2 possibility. Yes. Lower highs, as long as we're beneath this lower high, it's possible. Do we end up breaking later on with a big move? It did not happen. We got acceptance back above. So with the plan of yesterday, looking for a long position, which was a complete success after the fake out of the range lows, we haven't got a similar structure, unfortunately. This structure and this one for the moment is not looking too similar, but I would know exactly what I'm looking for to participate in a new long position. And we would have to see the failed move on this third wave, right? If we do not continue to the downside to take out the last higher low from yesterday, right, from Sunday, and we maintain in this region with a nice bounce, right? Say that we continue rolling here to the downside. Hang on a minute, let me just get this. This possible leg down is going to tell us the information if it is going to be interesting to look for longs later on, because bearish scenario is breaking down in a third wave or forming a 1-2, 1-2 and a 1-2 here. You move down, it just breaks down in a third wave. However, if we get that movement here to the downside and we get a significant leg to the upside like this and a corrective move, that is the moment that I want to join. I'm saying, okay guys, this is just looks like it wants to continue the bullish market structure to the upside, but I would need this information. Okay, so it's not about catching the falling knife, it's understanding, all right, the bears for the moment are failing to get follow through. You always want to consider a multiple 1-2, right, which could end up breaking lower. But if this leg to the upside is a significant recovery and the movement down is very, very choppy, it's the moment of decision here to jump into that long position. So not sure if we are going to get this, guys, but we had time throughout the last few days, yesterday being the latest one, to rejoin here a long position, if you wish. So yeah, that was that. Anyway, let's go through the comment section. Let's do a little bit of TA on demand here with the community, see what's going on with the absolute legends and see what's going on here with the people. What are they saying? Let's just clean the chart. Market structure is still very bullish, but I know we it's a fake out. It's not moving up with high volume. It's an interesting area. The fact that we missed out the yearly level by just a few dollars, that's like a very, very good execution for a short. But if you don't tap the level, it's not an entry. But yeah, would have been nice to get slightly above that yearly level, and your stop loss is extremely small. Obviously risk to reward, well, it really depends if it does roll over from here, but stop loss would have been so tiny, but we missed it by a few dollars, so there's literally no entry. There's no entry here, unfortunately, from the yearly level. But anyway, let's go through the comment section. Guys, remember, if you are interested in trading, you do have Bluffin, which is a great trading platform. you do get the biggest bonus available. Okay, it is a $1,000 bonus that they are running currently here on this campaign. If you deposit $7K, you're getting $1,000. If you deposit $5,000, you're getting $750. Take advantage here of these bonuses, and you know, it just requires an email and a password, guys. You got the first link down below for bluffing. You got many other options: BTCC, Bybit, of course, the legendary Bybit, decentralized option that only connects directly to your wallet, no middleman. Very competitive fees here on Velto, guys. You can connect it to Ledger, MetaMask, or any other wallets that you're using. 4-year cycle, homie, 70K loading. Yeah, when we consider the higher time frame, I have to say yes. Okay, that is the momentum is still bearish, right? 4-year cycle, nothing too different from the 4-year cycle theory, I have to say. The local top on Bitcoin for 2025 was expected somewhere in Q4. If you follow the 4-year cycle theory, right? In 2017 it was December, in 2021 it was November, 1 month before October. So we're kind of following the 4-year cycle theory. So 2026 should be bearish, and we are going to get those relief pumps. Okay, it doesn't mean we go down in a straight line. So you know, there's going to be some relief rallies for sure, and we're probably going to be developing this one, right? We're getting a little pump. It's not even a major relief rally on the daily, right? So but there is a good sign. There is a good sign that this movement down from all-time high for the moment is not classed as an impulse, because we're failing on this wave 4 to finish an impulse, right? If we would have got a leg down here throughout the last couple of weeks to claim below $80,000, then this would have been looking like more as a 5-wave structure. However, we missed out on the 4th wave to create the 5th wave, which is it's good eventually, higher time frame, but it seems silly to say Bitcoin will hit all-time high at some point. Of course it is. Of course it is, right? Bitcoin is going to come to all-time high again in the near future. Might not be 2026, but I would expect it to be throughout 2027. But what is interesting about this movement down, it's that it's not an impulse. It's, you know, it's very 3-wavy. The wave 4 is failing so far. It's extending in time if you compare it to your wave 2. Yeah, that's literally a good sign. It's a good sign that if you move down in a 3-wave structure, obviously you could come lower, but you have the zigzag down, some kind of a corrective, complex correction, and another zigzag down to 70K throughout 2026. You know, maybe 60K. I'm really saying that 60 to 50K would be like the low levels of the bear market if it does reach. I wouldn't say that Bitcoin is going to go down to 30K, 40K, 30K. I'm happy to buy more spot Bitcoin if it gets below $80,000. I'm still very well positioned on Bitcoin. I didn't sell much of my spot Bitcoin holdings, so I'm still quite heavily exposed into Bitcoin. So you know, I would be more than happy if we do get a significant rally and hit all-time high in 2026, but I don't think that's going to be the case. And if we do lose 80K in the next coming months, I'm going to start DCAing. I will start DCAing here below $80,000 throughout 2026. It's just the time. It's the time to do so. The moment I started DCAing on my spots, which I was still heavily exposed, guys. I only sold 25% of my Bitcoin here in this zone. I didn't even sell here or sold here. So Obviously, I had some significant cash on the sidelines because I don't have a few Bitcoin. But the moment it started very interesting to buy Bitcoin was below $30,000. You know, this was the zone of aggressive DCAing, which, you know, a lot of people were calling 10K and lower prices. I didn't really care. I was like buying Bitcoin every week, and managed to accumulate significant of my Bitcoin holdings throughout this region. Many months here to do so. So that kind of makes sense as well here on you know, regarding as you know, DCAing, because the most bearish case scenario that I see at the moment, I wouldn't say that a wave 4 is invalidated in a wave 5. It still could happen, but it's just taking too long. So what I would be expecting here regarding Elliott wave theory is that we've finished a 3-wave move to the downside here, and you know, of course, what this means is that this is corrective. It does have the potential of going to all-time high, but I wouldn't think, based on the 4-year cycle theory, that whatever bounce happens, whatever rally happens here throughout the next coming weeks, couple of months maybe, is likely going to fail. It's I think it's likely not going to pump up to all-time high. Could we hit 100, 105k, maybe 107k or so? Yeah, absolutely. But I would really class this bounce as part of a corrective structure as well. But and obviously the most bearish case scenario is forming a zigzag up. Whatever correction happens here, you know, if it's a wave X, it can be multiple different corrections, which we're going to have to wait. Of course, this is the daily time frame, but ultimately, if it ends up being a double zigzag where you have a zigzag down here in wave W, whatever happens here, it could go to 105 or whatever, you know, and ends up top. You know, we'll be analyzing the situation, of course, throughout the next coming weeks and months. But you know, this definitely has the potential of forming a wave X and then, you know, moving down in another zigzag throughout 2026. And I mean, eventually losing that low is I know it's going to be the moment to start DCAing aggressively before it, you know, getting that reversal entering into 2027. It's just gonna it is going to be the opportunity zone to really pile up on Bitcoin. And you know, the main reason, you know, if you say if you don't have any exposure on Bitcoin, I would say this is already acceptable to buy some. Right, we're down from all-time high at this point 26%, but we were down 30% or so throughout November and December. If you don't have any Bitcoin and you don't have any exposure to Bitcoin, I would say, yeah, this is a, you know, you're buying at a discount eventually. But just because I'm still heavily exposed on spot bags, I'm just not interested in buying here at this zone. You know, I want to buy much cheaper because I'm already heavily exposed still. I've only sold 25% of my spot bag, so which is great. It's all good, but if I'm going to rebuy this, I want to buy it lower. So, you know, let's see if it does happen throughout the next coming months, and obviously we'll be just happy to buy a little bit more. 500 likes are possible. Come on, guys, hit that like. Let's take a look here at the like button. Absolutely awesome. Thank you for the support, guys, joining in around. Much love to everybody. We are over 500 people watching, so it would be appreciated to see some support there. If you do enjoy the content, just going through some scenarios and possibilities for the price of Bitcoin. Let's go through the 5-minute time frame and see what's going on here. Yeah, let me just double check here one thing, guys, and then we can Okay, so if this is very, very locally, if we take out this lower high, we're likely going to take out the highs. If we take out 92 point, if we literally take 93k here in the next coming minutes or throughout the next 30 minutes, we have high probability that the moves here are this is a corrective structure. If this is going to be a wave 1 and this is going to be a wave 2, or this is going to be a wave A and this is a wave B, and you're currently developing your wave C here to then, you know, take out the lows and ultimately then recover, we want to see some kind of an impulsive move to the downside from this pivot, which could be developing. However, if we take out this last lower high, then yeah, I'm not fitting in here an ABC flat and then down. If we take out this high, guys, it is time to take out the local highs. So let's see. I would class this as a potential multiple 1-2 to the downside, but yeah, price is moving up right now. We do still have 25 minutes to New York Open. If this high is taken, it's not going to be looking good for the bears. And this is the same, very, very similar point of view that we talked about yesterday, right? I was in a short, guys. I got stopped out. Totally transparent about that situation yesterday. The position was good. But if we were to take out this high and latest this one right over here, then eventually we are looking at this to not be an impulsive, the start of an impulse down. So yeah, literally we took out the highs, we took out this lower high. That means that there's higher probability to take out this high. So yeah, so that's basically what we got here. Yeah, for the bears to take out these lows right here, we need to maintain beneath this lower high. Simple as, you know, if anybody attempted any short positions, if we take out this, you know, you have, this is the beauty about looking at the new information. We're looking at how the structure develops. If with the new information, if you take out that high, I realize that this movement down, you know, if it is going to develop a 3-wave move to the downside, the price cannot take out this high. If it does, this movement down is not looking bearish. So if I'm going to still believing that this is a 5-wave move in a wave A, this is a 3-wave move in a wave B, or most bearish case scenario, wave 2, right? We end up moving down very aggressively. We need to start developing something bearish here. And in this case, 1-2, 1-2, right? Maybe another 1-2 and then break down, or maybe this is already going to develop the 3rd wave. So anybody that is like attempting any shorts in this region, which is like the golden pocket to the 7-8, shout out to Devil, by the way, on the community that pointed out this potential rejection zone. You have time to get out at break even or at a very, very tiny loss in this case if you are short somewhere in this zone. If you take out this high, you know, instead of having your stop loss, say that you entered a short somewhere at the golden pocket or maybe the 7-8, and your idea is to take out at least the lows, right? Maybe you shorted somewhere here. You have time to cut losses because you want to see the bears kicking in here for that 1 2 1 2, boom, right? If you take out that high, I'm happy to get out at a very, very tiny loss or close to break even, and you know, save up on the loss here. So I mean, that's just a little bit interesting here about this local structure, and understanding that the bears need to maintain this little bearish market structure that we have throughout the last, you know, couple of hours to really break down here, right? In that wave 3, then 4 5, right? Take out these lows, and then maybe ABC or a 1 2 3, right? So yeah, if we take out that, you know, this is the moment to take decision on your original position, to say if you take out that high, you know, probabilities are higher to take out this high over here, because what is being developed in this movement down is unlikely to be bearish. So I mean, that's you know, just a little tips and tricks, right? Because we need to understand when we're wrong and when we're right, and you know, when probabilities changed based on the new you know, the new formation of what we get. And as explained, if we take out this high, it ain't going to be looking too great for a lower high here and claim this low. If this high is taken, just because yeah, this is literally not going to be a wave 1 double 1 2, and this is unlikely going to be a flat, because your B wave is like over 1.6 times longer. B waves in a flat, you want them to hit the 1236, the 1382, but not the 1.618, which has, you know, this is too far for a B wave. So if you're thinking that this is something bearish and a wave 1, you end up taking out this high. For this to be a flat is low probability to get continuation down, and the probabilities increase to take out this high, literally. So let's see if the bears want to push down. We do have New York open in the next, you know, maybe it's a double 1 2. We maintain this local bearish structure that we have, and it pushes down finally with a bit of volume. Wave 3, take out this low, which is a little bit of the intraday plan that we have today, just because there is a way of counting a 5-wave move to the downside here, 3-wave up, stretching to the 7/8 Fibonacci, almost hitting the 0.88. So let's see. And anybody that has been attempting any shorts throughout the last couple of hours, this is a moment of exit, because it's just forming higher lows, and the highs are probably going to be taken out. Okay, so let's go through the comment section, see what's going on as well with I'm streaming, you're streaming. Alex O Crypto, much love, my man. I think yeah, Alex O Crypto is also streaming. Much love to you, brother. Shout out to you guys. If you don't know who Alex O Crypto is, let me just give a massive shout out to this guy who's absolutely awesome. Where are you? Let me just go on YouTube here and point out this absolute machine. Yes, here he is live on stream. He's saying I'm streaming your stream. He's probably giving me a shout out here not long ago. Looking to find that shout out here, but this is Alex O Crypto, guys. Make sure to go and check him out. He's absolutely awesome. Great content, great live trading. Make sure to go and check him out. I was just checking to see if he was actually. Hang on a minute. Oh yeah, I was just checking because he did say Alex O Crypto. Here he is. He is live right now, guys. Go and check him out. Share some love here against us crypto traders, YouTube channels here. Much love to Alex O Crypto. He's absolutely awesome, guys. Go and check him out. Andy, is whale a market maker? Yeah, I don't think so. Not bad. I'm not bad, but I would say I'm maybe not a shrimp, but a fish. Not a shrimp, but a fish. There's a massive CME gap at 200k. That needs to be filling. Yeah, that's not correct. To the moon, much love. We got a stream sniper. Mark Dutch was here. There he is. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell from Mark Dutch. Much love to you, brother. Much love to Mark Dutch. Otter Gang here, taking over the stream. Much love to the Otter Gang. They're absolutely great. Hey, bro, good work. BTD Crypto, much love to you. Andy, hidden market maker. Yeah, market makers have, close to billions, right? I'm not too bad. Like I said, I'm not a whale, but I'm not a shrimp. Let's leave it as a fish, which is okay. Gang, the other gang here in the comment section. Learning an absolute ton from you in 2025. Pumped to continue the lessons here in 2026. Absolutely awesome comment. Thank you very much for those kind words. There are some little tips and tricks, right, that we can obviously, point out here. And we like to see them come to fruition, right? Risk management is your best tool, right? Learning technical analysis, Elliott wave theory, levels, setups, trading plans, right? This is a trading plan that was mentioned yesterday that played out very, very nicely. You need to understand when you have a significant gap on a major move with high volume, you don't want to lose it, right? And if you form a range, you form a first higher low, you take out the highs, you form a little bit of a range. This is literally a strategy. It does provide a potential long setup if you fail to break out the fair value gap, right? Which is literally what happened here. That gives you a possible long entry only on the recovery, because the fake out is the liquidity grab and the stop loss is beneath the fake out. That's the claim of liquidity already. So that makes it a safer long trade, right? Because you don't want to be longing in this area or in this area with your stop loss beneath the low, literally, right, of this mini range. That's that's how you are the liquidity, right? You're targeting the highs at least. Maybe you break out or not, you could leave some open, but that's basically the setup. So you wait patiently for the fake out of the lows, right? And then the fake out becomes your stop loss, and you need acceptance back above the range lows basically for you to trigger that long setup all the way back up to the highs. So that's the liquidity grab has been met here at the lows of the range, and that becomes your entry, this zone over here. This was the intraday setup, because market is bullish. Shorts are interesting if you know how to manage your risk. I have to say, I did attempt a few short trades throughout the last few days, but I'm good. I literally lost peanuts on the attempts. I'm worried about the people that are attempting shorts and are going to get wrecked. This is not. We are in bullish momentum, and looking for longs are still very interesting. We talked about longing. Maybe if we broke down, then obviously we're looking at the CME gap. That did not happen. First major long attempt that we got from yesterday is sweeping these lows. And maybe we would have pumped from here. I don't know. But I know if it does happen, it's a setup that happens very, very often, right? So we look for longs and we look for shorts. Shorts are interesting because we want to try and catch the Pico top, right? But you need to know how to manage the trades. And I'm really, really worried about talking about the shorts here on stream, because I want to defend my community. It's okay to get into small little losses, guys. It is part of the game. I just don't want people attempting short positions throughout the last week and not having any stop losses and being underwater, right? And people still in shorts from down here at 90K or maybe 89K. I do not want that for the people. So we execute them at specific levels. We understand with the new formation of the candlesticks, what levels are, if they are hit, they're not going to be looking good for the bears. I'm sorry. It's not going to be looking too great for the bears if we do come all the way up and hit that lower high, which is this one right over here. If we take out this lower high, I'm not interested in shorts till we actually take out that yearly level. Maybe a double top I could attempt here, just because the position is going to be good, right? Yearly level not tapped, double top. But anybody that's attempting any shorts in this region throughout the last few hours based on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ABC, we need to see bearish market structure that has been formed in the last 2 hours to maintain. This needs to maintain as bearish market structure, because if you break the local bearish market structure, which is the last lower high at 92.9, right, which we're just a couple $100 away, guys, then it's time to get out of the short, right? It's like yesterday, I hope I made it pretty clear. It is good to attempt shorts at specific zones. Devil pointed out this one in the pro community and mine pillar community, which we'll be talking about that in the next coming days, guys. But right now, it's just looking at, this golden pocket to the 7-8 zone is rather interesting to consider an ABC movement, because we have a possible 5-wave down, and that's taking out this low at a bare minimum, possibly. But as the formation is getting developed, I understand where I want to get out of the trade if I'm attempting this short, and that is if the price takes out this last lower high. And the same was explained yesterday. I am in a short from this zone. I do not want this high to be taken, or this one, as we got the new information, because that means that if it is going to be the case, we're not developing multiple 1-2s and we break in a third wave. This is a sideways WXY. We don't need to go into detail here, but yeah, by breaking the structure, eventually just a bull flag and we break out. So anybody that is attempting any shorts should be out already with this price action. You should be out, and you're just saving the loss. You're saving the stop loss above the high. The structure needs to continue being bearish. If not, if you take out the last lower high, it's likely going to be a corrective structure and you're going to take out that high. So very, very defensive way of understanding the price action, right? Price action is the most important. Market structure, price action, Elliott wave theory combination. Then you have all sorts of indicators, right, which is all good. I like them, but market structure and understanding price action is just the absolute bomb diggity of looking for strategies, right? You can have RSI, double SI, and whatever and what's or not, right? That's market structure really gives you that edge with Elliott wave theory combined, of course, which is very, very powerful. So I understand where I just don't want to be exposed in a short position if we take out this lower high. And people that don't understand that, people that are attempting the short are going to still be in the short and maybe add to the short, and let's short all together and add to this massive short. And I might wake up tomorrow morning and we're trading above $95,000, and it's like, damn, I'm underwater. What happened? Well, you just didn't understand the probabilities that were developing throughout, right? The next price action, which is this one. We'll see. right? We'll see. But just as mentioned yesterday, if we take out that lower high, we're likely going to take out the highs here. So I'm pointing out right now, if we take out this high, we have a high probability in taking out the highs at 93.3k. And we'll see, right, tomorrow if it does happen, in the next coming hour or so. So this is why you don't need to be exposed. If you understand that the probabilities decrease if you hit certain pivots. This has to be a multiple 1-2 if it is going to be bearish. If you take out this high, then yeah, we're probably looking at a sideways correction here just to take out the highs later on. So, and then you just get out. You get out. You're defensive, small, keep losses tight, guys. This is how you will succeed long term in trading. Your losses, keep them tight. Understand when it's not going to reverse. It's not going to reverse, right? If you're in the wrong trade of it, of course. Let's go through the comment section, see what's going on. Happy New Year, Jackie. You got Mother always giving support here and love. Much love to everybody, guys. I'll be announcing a new product in the next coming days. Of course, you are going to get a bonus as well if you sign up with a link down below in the description, guys. We do have Bluffin, which is one of the leading platforms that we talk about. I use obviously as well consistently. $1,000 deposit bonus if you deposit 7k, guys. If you deposit 5k, you're getting 750. This is used to pay fees and any small losses that you have. Take advantage, guys. You will be getting this bonus, as you can see here on this screenshot. Okay, you got the first link down below. Anybody that joins the links down below, you don't need anything else than an email and a password. You will be getting a bonus. I'll be leaving the Telegram shortly. I've got the team just finishing and polishing the last few things of the new product, and I will be announcing that, okay, in the next coming days. Let's go. Golden cross on BTC is bullish ASF. I know it is, right? I know it is. Andy is a whale, have billions, and I'm a plankton. 125x leverage. Just kidding. Axel, much love to you, my man. DCA and hodl for me. NFA. You know why I like the possibility of, looking for short attempts is because I am heavily exposed to the upside already. So this is the thing about buying and holding, but shorting as well is very, very lucrative, of course, if you know how to do it and if you're defensive and you know what you're looking for. But shorting is great because I'm already exposed to the upside. I'm not exposed to the downside. That's the problem, right? Buying assets, okay, if it goes down, we're just going to have to wait another 4-year cycle theory, right? No, screw that. I want to make money to the downside as well. So this is why we look for, these trading setups also to the downside. Shorting, right? It's if you know how to do it, it becomes very lucrative and it's much faster. The movements down are more aggressive and they are, they bring gains faster than to the upside. I can tell you that when you get into a good short, because they're more aggressive. So that is the thing about, do it safely, do it, risk the amount of percentage that you're happy with, and understand the world of trading and risk management, technical analysis, when you gain in probabilities and when you don't gain in probabilities. And it's fun if you know how to do it and you do it safely. It is fun, it is lucrative. You can make some gains obviously in the long term if you know how to do it, and don't expose yourself too much on your trading setups, okay? But yeah, that's the problem about looking. I'm so interested in looking for shorts just because I'm not exposed to the downside. I am, and I will be, my assets will be losing value. So if I can gain some dollars, right, to the downside, I'm happy to do so, right? You know, it's always good to look for some short positions as well, just because I'm not exposed to the downside. I'm only exposed up. And thanks to trading, we can be exposed to the downside as well, right? So I flip long. I'm not getting caught with my pants down again. Not again. Oh my God. Yeah, this is the moment, right, where the market structure is looking bullish. I'm going to miss out, right? I'm going to miss out on the explosion to the upside. And you enter, if this does play out as the most bullish scenario, which is getting a significant leg up, it would have to be multiple 1-2s, right? Where I have to count it from this, because there is a triangle possibility in this region right over there, and it's just, I don't want to count something bullish from here or from this higher low. This is just so terribly three wavy everywhere that I need to count the latest push to the upside, which is from this zone, I have to say. Even this wave was three wavy. I was really looking at this to be corrective. And then three wave down. And then, you know, we started rallying very aggressively, taking the range high. So if I'm considering something extremely bullish on multiple 1-2s, it has to be from this zone. This is very three wavy. So all of this is part of a, you know, longer correction, regardless if it's the triangle or not. And where it starts being bullish as possible impulsive moves is from here. Corrections, boom, corrections, bang, corrections. Can this be multiple 1-2s? We've got New York Open at the moment, guys. I'm going to check here. New York Open chart right now, because we are maybe going to get some local volatility. But if this is going to be something bullish to pop out in a third wave, you want to maintain this higher low. Longing yesterday was an option here. Not a bad long position with that fake out. Longing from here, somebody in the comment section saying, I'm longing, I'm not getting caught with my pants down. Man, this is a dangerous, I mean, if you manage risk, you can do whatever you want, but this is a little bit of a dangerous area for a long. It would be much more sensible to remain patient. It's for me, I don't see a great long here. If you want to take the chance, it's all about stop loss. I just don't like the idea of longing here and putting a stop loss here. Yes, targeting the highs and maybe going higher. Yesterday was a better option for the long position. I know we try and get positions here on you know, for shorts or longs, it doesn't matter. But just I see this area being a dangerous zone for longing. I mean, if you're happier with having a tight stop loss, I'm just worried about the people that are attempting a long position here, and they're going to be exposed on the movement down with no stop loss, and then yeah, the risk to reward goes down the toilet. And this is no zone for stop losses, I can tell you that. I would rather see the movement down to then see if we are going to be holding. And you know, this becomes an interesting area to long. Third wave down fails, we get supported, and we have a possibility of 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, bang, we break out later on in the next coming days. But yeah, the reason being here with this with this movement down, you know, it does look a bit five wavy. And this could be a three waver, and obviously that gives the possibility of doing this and taking out this low. So any longs taken on this pullback is risky. Is risky. So yeah, what can I say? Of course the market could form a higher low. Why not? If you're happy to take it, then you know the deal. I want people to manage risk very, very well. The best long here. We got the point of control back test today. We had a point of control at 92,345, which we just blasted through out. no reaction at that level. And we actually held it as support throughout today. Yeah, that could maybe an interesting area to consider the long after faking out. But yeah, no longs to be taken anywhere here. At least for me anyway. Purely based on this movement. You know, this move does have a possibility of being a 5 waver, which automatically converts it in a possible A, B, C, or a 1, 2, you know, worst case scenario is the third wave, right? And it actually dumps down very, very aggressively. Let's take a look at the stock market, see what's going on right over there on stocks. Let's well, basically the S&P 500 index got a nice little pump. Stock market is pumping. Stock market is pumping here, testing the highs of last week of Friday, attempting the breakout. This is the thing, guys. So many we actually broke the downtrend structure here for the S&P 500, which is interesting. Local downtrend structure that we formed throughout the last week has been broken, which is very, very interesting. It's making this this looking corrective. We got movement down, boom, boom, boom. Bearish market structure. Lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. And now higher high. No lower high. So that's first attempt of the structure change on the S&P 500. Obviously, this could get a big rejection, test the lows, big bounce, test the highs, possible correction. So you just want to be aware of that. But yeah, got a little rally here to the upside, testing the highs, could form an SFP here. So ten cuidado, ten cuidado. Don't be too bullish when you test a high. Actually interesting for shorts. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Ooh. Oh, we're getting a move. A little bit of a move down. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, ay, ay. Wave 3. Is it the case? Or is it not? Vamos, vamos, vamos. Ooh, volume kicking in right now. What we want to see here is follow through to the downside. Longs are only interesting for me once we get down in this region, and we need to see that wave 3, that third wave, lose momentum, maintain bullish market structure, which is the last higher low of yesterday, see a bullish reaction, and then longs could be interesting to take out the highs. Do we have a lot of longs, shorts entering the market? A few shorts entering. Interesante, muy interesante. Yeah, bears, at least local bears, want to see follow through with this movement down. Oh, not looking too bearish. Being a bit wicky here. A bit wicky. Oh. No follow through. No follow through on this wick. We probably hit the VWAP. Oh, VWAP not doing much today. Yeah, this movement down, this still becomes the level that I don't want the balls to be hitting. When I consider this movement to the downside, yeah. Hang on a minute, just taking a look here at this scenario for a 5 waiver. Yeah, an expanding diagonal is possible, but we never like expanding diagonals. So as we did create a new low, you could still take out this high and form a lower high. But yeah, the moment you get, this would have to be your invalidation at this point for the bearish case. So yes, you can take out this high right now because there is a possibility of an expanding diagonal here. But in a 5 wave move, you never prefer these scenarios. However, let me just double check here. The wave 1 and the wave, just by a hair. Yeah, expanding diagonals are never great as a motive wave. ABC flat here is still a possibility. Technically, you could take out this high as we did form a new low and still form a lower high here, but it's not going to be looking too great. The moment you get squeezed in between these levels, yeah, if you take out this high, it's going to be the moment that this is looking bullish to take out this high. Yeah, the thing is, this is a 5 wave move to the downside, right? Anybody that is interested in Elliott wave theory, very, very choppy. But from this pivot high, yes, you do have a 5 wave move down, but there is overlap, and the only way that you can fit a 5 wave here is an expanding diagonal, and expanding diagonals are very, very rare for a motive wave. So that's not looking too great for a lower high. If we are going to take out this high, I think anybody that is attempting any shorts here should get out of the market. Pumping up, pumping up, pumping up. What's the stock market? The ES doing? A little bit of testing the highs. Market structure has been broken on the stock market. The downtrend that we formed throughout the last week has been broken. So that's looking quite bullish for the stock market, for the S&P 500. This downtrend did maintain as bearish, right? Till you actually broke the structure. Just a trend breakout, if you wish. So that's looking good for the stock market. Bitcoin taking the highs, likely going to take out the highs. I think any short should be out. This is no longer looking bearish. Likely going to take out these highs. We're probably going to test the yearly level, which could be interesting. Let's see if we do get a blast off. We got the yearly level. Let's take a look. Yearly level, not much more levels to the upside here. Let's see. Are we seeing lots of longs entering the market? Lots of longs entering the market right now. Good chances are going to squeeze. Let's set an alert here and go through the comment section. But yeah, anybody that was attempting any short positions should be out close to break even or at a slight loss. Just it's not worth it at this point. The Bears had a chance, but they did not manage to follow through here. This was the moment that was looking so quick execution for a long. I have to say that for me there was no long to be executed. This is like very quick. I had no plan, no strategy to jump into a long here. Only strategy that I had is to take out the lows and then analyze the structure later on to see if it was interesting for a long. So I had no long strategy in this zone, guys. You know, this is what it is. There was a long yesterday that did play out, but today I wanted a little bit lower for the long position and no shorts to be taken anywhere in this zone with the market moving up like this. Okay, so any shorts that have been taken, you should have got out already with this pump, right? Keep your losses small, guys. Keep them small. Good chance that we're going to take out this high, and we do not know if there is going to be a reaction or if it's going to break out. So we're just about coming to hit that yearly level. This is going to be interesting to take a look at the 1 hourly, 4 hourly chart here on Bitcoin. But we do have that yearly level with the 0.88 Fibonacci. Let's get it on the chart. 0.8 fib with that yearly level just about to be tested. Yoosh. Danger zone. This becomes the danger zone eventually. Don't want to be heavily exposed, but you get the point right now. As we come into this movement, guys, I'm not in a short position. You know, screw that. This increases the probability to take out the high, so we just tapped into that level. Oof. Quick little reaction here. It wants to, it doesn't want to. This zone could be a little bit wicky, I have to say. It could be a little bit wicky of an area. Oof. Yeah, I want to be a little bit cautious here because this is either a big rejection zone or it explodes out. Yearly level with the 0.88 Fibonacci. It kind of wants to, it doesn't want to. Nya. Big volume. Let's take a look at the delta. It wants to SFP. Kind of wants to. Yearly level with that 0.88 Fibonacci from the higher time frame. So far, so good. Yearly level with the 0.88 Fibonacci, getting the rejection right now, guys. A bit of a quickie here. A little bit of a quickie. Yearly level, getting a small reaction here with the 0.88 Fibonacci. I have to say, I'm not a fan of this movement to the upside being something like extremely bullish. Big rejection at that yearly and the 0.88 valid. It was a valid entry, guys. Valid entry. Let's see if we do get a nasty rejection here. Big volume coming in. Lots of longs entering as well at the highs. That's the thing, right? You got lots of longs entering here. Big rejection. It's kind of worth for a swing. Well, swing short, but yeah. I would want to be defensive. Obviously, a back test of the level would be a little bit cheeky. Not sure how to handle this trade, as in stop loss at break even. Yeah, I would take it a little bit as a scalp. Not bad to take some profits. Just a little scalp. Oof, big wick at the moment. Not sure if it's going to succeed. This buying pressure wants to break this level. Is it going to get broken, guys? Not a bad entry here. It did get a movement of $500. It's quick scalp. The entry and the risk management here is phenomenal, guys. So, you know, whoever wanted to attempt that short scalp on the rejection of the 0.88, you know, the risk to reward, it's just all about handling the trade. Scratch some profits, obviously on that moment down, leave some open and consider the possibility of swinging lower, right? You don't need to risk a huge amount here, but depending if you took it as a scalp, the entry is just so good on the rejection of that yearly. I have to say, it's not a bad entry at all. You know, big bounce at the moment. Are there any longs entering here aggressively? Oof, you know, lots of longs entering here at the highs, which is kind of good. It's kind of what we want to see. Let's see. Back test is an option as well. Back test is a possible option. I wouldn't go too crazy on this one. You know, we are fighting the trend, but the entries are just so good from risk management. Do we blast off, guys? It kind of wants to. It looks like it wants to. Oh! It wants to break through. No success rejection, at least on the first attempt. Oh, bulls are fighting here. The bulls are fighting, that's for sure. They want to break that yearly level. First rejection attempt. Failing to get the follow through. Now, do we get that second attempt on the cheeky back test? Which is possible. Quick reaction on the lower time frame. Quick rejection on that yearly level, forming that cheeky possible back test. Do we blast through here, guys? Let me know in the comment section. Short is gonna get wrecked. Classic bear trap. We don't get wrecked here, guys. We manage risk. I have attempted this, already scratched just to cover the possible loss. We don't get wrecked here. Okay, we can attempt these shorts, manage risk. Okay, you can attempt them. You can scratch just to be defensive on the loss. This is trying to really, you know, take a bit of profits on the rejection. If this turns out to roll over, you know, eventually you got such a good position. And, you know, well, who knows, right? Will this trade be a stop loss, close to break even? Because I've want to scratch already some of the profits just to cover that stop loss. But it's mainly a swing trade, right? It's a swing trade rejection potential. But we don't get, well, at least I want to believe that the people that follow me do not get wrecked. They know how to manage the entry. That entry is literally the yearly level rejection, right? Stop loss above the highs. Would I attempt a local double top? Not sure. If it breaks out, it breaks out. But obviously covering the loss here with the movement down, just a quick take profit just in case it bounces straight back up. But we can manage, you know, manage these attempts if you manage them correctly. It's literally a free trade at this moment. You could treat it as a scalp, but it wants to break through, guys. It's fake rejection here. Fake rejection. Yeah, breaking out at the moment. This is why, out of the trade right now. Not a bad attempt. Not a bad attempt, I have to say. We did get the rejection. So, was not a bad attempt. Anybody that is long, of course, you know, maintain some of those longs are eventually, you know, obviously you want to maintain some longs if you longed yesterday, or if you longed, you know, on last Friday, or if you longed, you know, somewhere last week. You want to maintain some of those longs eventually, because this does not want to reject at the levels. In and out. You know, it's all good. All good. We don't get wrecked, guys. We don't get wrecked here. We manage risk very, very defensively. It was worth the entry, I have to say. We did get the rejection, stop loss, very, very tight. Quick profits to cover the loss. But we don't have any major levels at the moment, so we maintain long. What can we say? We did get one reaction, quick reaction. Of course, this could be a fake pump as well. We're not too far away of hitting the highs. I just don't have many levels where we're currently at the moment. We've got a lower high right there, but yeah, just tested that lower high. I did not enter in that short. Yeah, I don't see it as a major level above the 0.88, if I'm honest with you. There's just literally no interesting levels where we are at the moment, so I don't have a proper short entry here. I would have preferred to see the yearly open, yearly level with the 0.88. Yeah, it is true that it is forming a little cheeky SFP at the moment here from this major pivot. Major lower high pivot. It is a little bit of an SFP right there. I didn't catch that entry. Might have been the one, guys. That was the only level to consider the re-entry here. Not sure if any of you were faster like John Wayne, but literally it's a lower high that we have. And these are free attempts almost, right? If you can catch the ultimate Pico top, it's a valid attempt, right? You don't get wrecked with these attempts. If this turns out to be the top, your stop loss is literally like this. You're already making more than, you know, it's just about handling the trade. How do you handle it? I have to say, though, but this SFP level, you know, be defensive. Cheeky lower high. Cheeky lower high. I was not aware of this, but yeah, it's just not an interesting zone. We don't have any proper resistance when we consider point of controls or daily or weekly all the way up here in this zone, unfortunately. But this might, you know, sometimes it's not all about the levels. Everybody's looking at the levels. It might just be a cheeky SFP out of no man's land. and that is the one that corrects down a couple of $1,000 in the next coming days. I didn't catch that entry, guys. I don't want to enter now, of course. I want to catch the Pico top, which was the case with the yearly and the 0.88, but not with this one. I'm probably going to get stopped out at break even if you're attempting that SFP. Let's go. Interesting that we are at the yearly level. Interesting. Maybe that was the SFP. SFP of that. It's still 0.88 territory. I missed it. I might consider a back test. We almost back tested the level. Let's see if we do get a little bounce here. Let's take a look at the value area. Looking at by bit. But yeah, whoever catch that SFP, you could be running a free trade at the moment. Might have been the one for the correction, guys. Might have been the one. I want to check the value area high here. You know, it is still a level of resistance. Of course, resistance are there to be broken, right? They are there to be broken. So let's see if there's many shorts entering the market. Mainly some longs, not too many shorts entering. Mainly some longs here. Longs entering right there. Interesting level, well, that is for sure. I was not aware about this level. It's just about to get hit again. Whoever got that SFP is a legend. Whoever catch that lower high as an entry and just be defensive. It's just all about managing risk, guys. You know, what can I say? But that SFP was just a legendary entry if you were aware about that lower high. Because I would, you know, this is a yearly level still, the 0.88 Fibonacci. Obviously, there's lots of fake outs on the lower time frame above certain levels. You know, you can pump up a few $100s of resistance. But yeah, let me know in the comment section. No bear div. Trump's action in Venezuela is a 4-day chess move. Oil is the distraction. BTC is the prize. I think my theory has likely nailed it. BTC is going to be the currency, right? To buy the Venezuela oil. Maybe. Andy, explain your liquidation and margin percentage prices. They look crazy. Oh, maybe that's because I'm using cross margin. Okay. When I use cross margin, yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if based on liquidations, let me just double check here. Yeah, the fact, it's because it's cross margin and I have a lot of capital and I'm using, you know, 0.5% of risk on stop loss, 1%, and it's cross margin. That's why. In the case of this long position, there's no liquidation because no matter how low the price goes, I've got a lot of equity, right? So and no matter how low the price goes, eventually with the amount of margin that I'm using, it's like never liquidated. Somebody also, you might have seen the short trade liquidation was maybe at $400,000. It's because I'm using cross margin and not isolated. Okay, maybe that's why you're asking that question. 500 here, maybe your other long, 499k liquidation price. No, that was the short. You can't have a long position with your liquidation at 499k. That has to be a short. So because of the amount of risk that I'm using, which is obviously in the 1% region, the price would have to go to 500k if I wanted to liquidate me on a short position. But that's all based on the percentage that you use, right? This is why we say use 1 to 2%, maybe 3% of your capital for your trades. And it's cross margin. This is why. It wasn't the other long. It was the short attempt that I had on the yearly rejection, right? Yearly level rejection. Which was this one basically. Yeah, there's just a short that I got stopped out just recently. Man, whoever entered this short position at the SFP is a legend. This who knows, you know, it's just a good entry. That was just a very, very legendary entry right there. Maybe this does take out the lows and maybe gets a larger correction, guys. Whoever catch that SFP, which was not easy. I didn't have it on the chart ready, but it just gives you a legendary entry with very, very good risk management. At the end of the day, that's what we do. You can attempt these shorts. I'm not in the short at the moment. Would be a little bit pissed off if we do reject from here, but if we are looking for a rejection, this might be the zone where it does so. But yeah, this is actually not a bad SFP, which is just above the yearly level and the 0.88 Fibonacci. which is kind of enough to create that fakey out volatility for any early shorts that are entering the market. Just to give you that epic entry, guys. This is like the entry, and I would treat this as a possible swing short position. Possible swing short trade. But that entry was absolutely legendary. Whoever caught that SFP from the highs. We did get a little bounce just recently, but we didn't quite back test the level, which would have been nice. So yeah, it is at the yearly. It is at the 0.88. It is rejecting. We just got some local volatility. We didn't quite come up to back test. I would have considered an entry on a pump here for the back test, but we didn't get it, guys. And that's just being strict with the setup. But yeah, we're just trading at the yearly right now. There's that battle at the yearly level. The battle of the yearly level. It is here. So it wicked up a little bit from the yearly and the 0.88. Look at this. We're exactly where 2024 closed. This is why this is such a relevant level. This level where the price of Bitcoin is right now is where we closed and opened, of course, 2025. Very, very crucial level here for the price of Bitcoin. And yeah, whoever managed to get into that SFP, it just gives you such a good entry. I mean, who knows how it's either stopped out. You don't need to go crazy, right? When you got possible swing trades, you don't need to risk 10% of your account on that stop loss here just because you want to double your account, you know, in the next couple of days. It doesn't work like that. Right? It could happen, but you don't want to go that risky. This is why we do have many bullets. You know, when you do manage 1%, you have many bullets. I could throw 100 short trades, and it's all okay. The one that nails then eventually is one that's going to pay. Wouldn't surprise me if this monthly wick by end of January. Wouldn't surprise me if this is a monthly wick by end of January. I mean, yeah, looking at the monthly chart, we have seen, you know, crazy monthly wicks as well. It does happen. You know, of course, you could end up in a very, you know, you create massive wicks as well. Could it end up in a very wicky situation here? Monthly wick for January, somebody saying here in the comment section. It's possible, of course. Crucial, interesting level where we are at the moment. I like to be very, if I'm attempting unless you get a sign of weakness at the moment, unless you catching the Pico top on that SFP, I'm not shorting on this rejection. I would have to see the price go, unfortunately. But, you know, if you're trying to catch a high on a trade, it needs to be at the specific levels on the rejection. If you move down ever so slightly here, you're better off looking for a long position. No way. You know, this is like looking for a short trade on the movement down that we've had today, or the movement down that we had yesterday. You're better off looking for longs on the corrections, okay? Then if you move down from a rejection here, shorting later, you need to see a proper impulse down, right? And a corrective, very corrective bounce. And then you join the short that you missed at the Pico top, right? If that is the case. But never, I would say never short on the first pullback that we're getting. So if we pull back down now in the next 1-2 hours, it's not a moment to short. We'd rather look for a long on these local pullbacks. If you want to rejoin a short position, if you didn't catch the highs here on the SFP, you need to wait for, this is what I would do, of course. I need to wait for the structure to be broken and a very, very corrective bounce in the next coming days, just to say, okay, guys, well, it's ending up rolling over in the end. But so I could not short if I missed the highs for the next at least 24 to 48 hours, the next couple of days, to look at the bounce and analyze the bounce if that is the case. I can't short here on the movement down, unfortunately, because it might form a higher low. It might be very corrective. So I would need that information in the next coming days. It's either short the Pico top, SFP, of this level. Not interested right now, even though it's just a few $100s away. It doesn't matter. I want to either get the SFP or the back test. And it all has to do because depending on your trading style. So not exposed at the moment to the downside, just moving up, missed that entry. And even though we're not too far away, I'm not entering here. So let's go through the comment section, guys. Anybody can be a B flat. That is crazy. Much love to everybody. Anybody that is not joining any trading setups with myself, make sure to check out Bluffing, guys. Bluffing is an awesome trading platform. It's absolutely great, highly liquid, great platform here that just requires an email and a password, and you do have the greatest bonuses available, of course, with the affiliate link down below. $1,000 deposit bonus, guys. You deposit 7K, you're getting 1K on top of that pays for fees and potential small losses, of course, if you're playing the defensive way. And you have that, okay, with the first link down below on Bluffing. It only requires an email and a password, nothing else, and you can start trading here with me also on Bluffing, guys. You have other links down as well, great exchanges, Bybit, Weeks, or the decentralized option, which is Velto, which connects directly to your wallet, guys. No middleman. You can use Ledger, MetaMask, many different wallets, Trust Wallet, and you got very competitive fees on Velto, guys. Check out Velto. You have a small tutorial as well as soon as you click the link here on Velto. So the price not wanting to reject, and it wants to continue going higher. Yeah, for me, unfortunately, there was no new long trade setups today. Oh, it wants to pop out, guys. It wants to go. It wants to go. Not sure if I'm liking this back test. It wants to go. It wants to go. There's just no more extra major levels here, I have to say. Not liking this back test. Not liking this back test so much based on these wicks over here. It's too wicky. Yeah, it's going to take out the highs. It's going to move higher. Not exposed at the moment in a short, guys. Wants to go higher. No major short. No proper rejections. Out of the short attempt that I had, of course, on the yearly. Quick rejection just to cover the local losses here on that, taking quick profits on the movement down. Market is ferocious. Market is ferocious here, and we want to play very, very defensive at these levels. We're above all the levels. They're not rejected. They attempted to reject. On these SFPs, you want to see a big move down, right? Or maybe a little bounce and then move down. You don't want to see you don't want to give the bulls any attempt here to wick down and move back up. So the yearly level rejection was okay. It was an okay attempt, but this is the problem right now for people that are in shorts still, and they are hoping for a rejection, and they're hoping for a rollover. I know there is people that trade like that eventually, because if not, the market would not go higher. And that they're just shorting with, and with just heavily exposed with their liquidation. And yeah, I'm going to get into short. I showed you why the entry of the yearly rejection was good. But hey, boom, you get already a 2-3 to 1 risk reward. Bang. Quickly lock in your loss. Right? Lock in, if you're already making a 2-3 to 1 risk reward, collect half so you can pay off the stop loss, possible rejection. You never know how this could end up, right? Big rejection or not. But play defensive. Play defensive. If you're not, I'm not exposed in a short at the moment. I just don't have a major level. We've broken through the levels. First attempt was okay. Not SFPing from this level. No attempt at the moment. So, and we're just kind of running out of levels here. This is the area where we are at the moment, where there's just not much going on here. So we probably could have the possibility of hitting the highs. I know Bitcoin likes to be very, very cheeky by missing by a few $100 a major high or a major low, right? This is just like this right over here. Look how we missed by a few $100 and we completely reversed, right? Few $100 missing that low right there. Well, more like $1,000 almost. This is the 4-hourly chart, but you get very, very close, right, to the level. And then, whoop, it gets a full-on reversal. But yeah, I would say just because the momentum is so bullish for the moment, I'm not interested. If we did not reject at the 0.88 or the yearly, of course, this one could be the one. Very, very hard at the moment with the market being so squeezy. So squeezy at the moment, so I'm not exposed here. Price looks like it wants to squeeze out to test those highs. Unfortunately, we don't have a major level here. Well, this is what the price likes to do as well, right? You get all above all of the levels, squeeze any potential short attempters, and then rolls over. Which is the, does happen. It does happen. Let's go through the comment section, see what the legends are saying. I'm missing Staffer. He's normally here. Staffer 1, yeah, I'm not sure where he is. He's probably having a day off. Staffer 1 is not around. We did get Mark Dutch joining here, the stream. Much love to Mark Dutch, of course. Psychology after a long downtrend and a range, people are conditioned to look for shorts. Yeah, also very true, right? Very bearish downtrend. We're going lower, 4-year cycle theory, and obviously a relief rally is. We're very much aware of the situation here in the last couple of weeks. of the bears. Somebody thought it was funny, but the bears are losing based on this movement down with this price action, right? They're losing the momentum to consider this still part of an impulse down. The moment you extend, you are separating yourself from this wave, which obviously brings a new wave formation, regardless if it's a sideways complex corrective structure that can sweep lows and sweep highs and whatever. It's a different wave now, based on the timing. Still, of course, could consider a wave 4, but it's just losing in probabilities at the moment, purely based on time, also purely based on the channel here formation, right? This is very, very common in an impulse where your wave 1 and 2, you form a channel, your wave 3 gets out of the base channel, and then obviously the wave 4, you don't want it to hit the top of the channel, which is the case here. So considering this still an impulse, it's likely something else. We got a new fresh wave formation from the lows here, which for the moment is what we have. This is very, very likely something different from this downtrend at this point. We're forming something new, which it's good because this is a three-wave structure, and three-wave structures are in the family of corrective structures, right? Double zigzags, WXY, triangle formation, you know. So that gives a good, that's something bullish. That's something bullish. You know, we do expect all-time high for Bitcoin to be taken in the future again, right? Just we're failing to complete an impulsive move here to the downside. So 1030 dump is what bears are counting on. It was too easy to trade over the holidays. Yes, it was. Golden pocket at 97k. Albert, golden pockets. Golden pocket from the last, from the all-time highs to the lows. Golden pocket at 97k. 107. Oh, hang on a minute. Is that from the last lower high? Could be a rejection point. In general, a lot of people shorting and keep getting hit by stop loss. I have to say, yeah. But there is safe ways of doing it. As mentioned, you know, I'm not exposed at the moment. Today we had an attempt. We do not reject successfully. Out of the short trade, we are currently just trading in the range of the yearly level. So, you know, what can we say? You will not see me in a short trade and adding to the position. It's going to roll over at some point. You know, we either reject at the specific levels, which are possible. You can get a good entry. You can get a good stop loss. Unless it ends up rejecting and we change the bullish market structure, but that would take a few days to develop. So whenever the price decides to top out, if it does, it needs to form a pretty sharp impulsive move and a very, very choppy, you know, bear flag, if you wish, right, to then consider the short trade. You need the local bearish market structure change, unless you're trying to catch the Pico top, of course, which is it's lucrative to do so, but you just stop loss becomes above above the fake out highs in this case. So I mean, we did get the rejection from the yearly. It just did not succeed to reject too much lower prices, unfortunately. So what can we say? And that's all good. That's the rejection that I was happy to participate in, because sometimes the price would just really take the big move down. Entry, stop, move down, be defensive, take a bit of profits to cover the loss. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. It's not the end of the world. It's an attempt. So bears email and notification soon. Bitcoin bears in denial. Andy, what do you think of a B flat at 1236? A B flat from what time frame? Let me know what time frame. Druva, let me know what time frame. Not sure what B flat are you. Let me know what time frame. Not sure what B flat you're talking about. There is 100% agree. I understand you, bro, but there are people that don't know how to do it. You know, Eduardo, yes, very true. Very, very true, my man. That's where I worry about a lot of people getting too exposed on believing that we're going to reverse. It's not about believing, it's understanding that the market structure is actually bullish. If we are attempting any shorts at levels that the price could reject, what can I say? It's all good. I also attempted a short here yesterday, and understood where I needed to get out, right? This was explained on yesterday's stream, where we talked about the long position here as well. And if you are short, don't short on the movement down, unless you're shorting from the point of control, I think it was, right? Where we have that level, unless you're shorting really, really high. And, my general stop loss was here. Once we got this structure, I want the bears to win. If we start breaking the local bearish structure, obviously we're looking at this to be a correction or a bull flag. Once we got this price action, I'm out. I'm even lowering my stop, because I understand that if we break the local bearish structure, we're not only going to test the local highs, it's probably going to break out, right? So, the people that are getting into shorts and believing it's going to roll over and is heavily exposed with no stop loss, you're in danger, right? You're in danger. This is the moment where price gets a massive short squeeze, and the people that believe that it's going to roll over are hoping for a fake out. Volume is low, I don't know, whatever reason they have. The reality is that the market structure is bullish. We do have possibilities of the price moving to not only 95k but maybe 97, maybe 100k. I'm really, really worried of the people that are just shorting with or attempting a lot of shorts and just losing, and I'm really, really worried about those people, because it's a dangerous territory here. Obviously you want to be very, very careful, right? Market structure is very, very bullish at the moment. If you do not reject at specific levels, it's just not worth it right now. When you run out of levels, you might as well just take out 95k. So yeah, just want to be safe about the shorts, because if it's not rejecting, it's not rejecting. What can we say? It just wants to go. So no shorts, guys. No shorts at the moment. No new longs. Yesterday we talked about a new long position. Whoever entered that long and maintained that long, absolutely great. Today I did not have a long position in this territory. For me, we had to take out this low for a potential 3 waiver and maybe look for the long later on. But yeah, I didn't have any longs here, unfortunately, at least with my strategies and my way of viewing the market for a new long position. So yeah, let's go. Delayed Santa rally. Thank God I'm already positioned. Phenomenal. Absolutely wonderful. That's how good traders look back at their trades closely and examine what happened. Add to your losses. Eduardo, much love to you, my man. Add to your losses, bro. I see you're doing good and smart about it. Cheers, hermano. Suerte en day trade en el día de hoy. Much love. I think that's from Cuba, no? Cubano. Mucho amor, Eduardo. Thanks for joining the stream today. Market rejected many times from 94.5k region. Very true. Obviously the highs right there. Obviously these highs, yeah, this is a level of resistance, but when the price has consolidated so much, I would say that the price could not looking for a quick short here, unfortunately, guys. I don't have could we SFP from the highs of the range? I have to say I don't have any no shorts here, guys. I'm not liking this short just because it's a too easy of a level. I'm aware of the very bullish case scenario where you have the contracting diagonal, wave 1 or wave A, the correction here, or all of this being the correction, and the price building up bullish market structure and multiple 1-2s. Just want to be aware of that pop out here. I am not going to attempt this SFP, I have to say. I'm probably not going to attempt this SFP just because of the danger of getting a larger breakout here, forming a 3-wave structure to the upside. I think it is a little bit of a dangerous SFP. I'm not liking it just because of the 3-wave move, right? It's not an SFP that I'm going to attempt. I don't like it. I'm not liking it on the higher time frame. I think the price the price of Bitcoin does have the potential of squeezing out 4.5, you know, maybe forming something bullish here, and maybe that's your correction, but I think it's going to take a bit of time to get exhausted. We'll check the exhaustion and the different probabilities here in the next coming days, guys. I am back tomorrow with another live stream. Short attempt was lucrative, guys. What can we say? Manage risk accordingly. This is part of the game. That yearly level, quick little rejection of $500. It did not continue. The fact that you can manage risk so well and on these, you know, SFPs, and just get out of the market if it doesn't reject is absolute beauty. Whoever longed yesterday, absolutely awesome. We did talk about the longs. We do talk about longs. There was a long today. However, wanted to see a little bit more of a pullback on the long position. Whoever got into that long position yesterday at 90,900 zone, when we got above it, awesome. You can still maintain that long. Remember, if you're interested in trading, bluffing, awesome trading platform, guys. You just need an email and a password. You got the bonuses down below in the description, and I'll be letting you know the new product that we are launching in the coming days. We'll be leaving my Telegram group down below, and whoever signs up to bluffing or any of the exchanges down below will be getting a bonus. I'll be letting you know in the next coming days, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.